Thank you, Mr. Trudeau. I know there's sort of a conflict of facts that's become evident through your testimony. You've said that Ms. Fournier is wrong, the Globe and Mail is wrong. You've implied disagreements with CSIS as well. So the committee and the public is going to have to decide what they believe in terms of the facts. I've read your book on China, and I know you've done a lot of thinking about China. And what I find particularly unbelievable in your testimony are two things. The first is that foreign donations skyrocketed to the Trudeau Foundation as soon as your brother became Prime Minister. The allegation isn't that the foundation was taking policy positions, but that people were donating to the foundation with the intention of currying favor with the Prime Minister as a result. Even without all the other facts, it seems on face of it suspicious that there was a spike in foreign donations, a massive spike as soon as the Prime Minister took office. And yet it seems like you're contending that that was coincidence. But the second thing from what you're saying, we're talking about different meetings. People are coming to those meetings who are from the consulate, who are affiliated with United Front-backed organizations. And you're saying in every case they're probably just there for translation. The implication of your comment, sir, is that there aren't qualified translators available in this country who aren't affiliated with the Chinese government, or that it's somehow normal for apolitical Chinese people in Canada to go to the Chinese government for assistance with translation services. Isn't that unbelievable?
Two questions there I saw. One, for the spike in foreign donations, there was no spike in foreign donations. We had a new chair come in at that time, coincidentally. John McCall McBain, a very wealthy, philanthropically inclined gentleman who happens to live in Switzerland and made a sizable donation. That was the extent of the spike of our board chair, of prominent and highly respected Canadian, who
I think the numbers will show something different.
The generous donation. That's the spike, and it has nothing to do with politics. Your second question, I believe, was
your contention about
China
translation.
Works that way. That the notion of
we're not talking about China, we're talking about Canada. We're talking about the idea that if you need a qualified translator between English or French and a Chinese language, that it would be normal for people to go to the consulate or clearly United Front affiliated organizations and ask for help with translation. Isn't that absurd?
I don't even know whether these were translators, but I'm saying you have to take that in account into your understanding of how Mr. Zhang Bin operated as a non-English speaker, non-French speaker.
The issue is you had people from the consulate who were there. You had people from these Chinese government affiliated organizations
from other countries at our at moments. It's a good thing to do academic diplomacy.
This isn't just any other country, sir, and this didn't
at this
trigger.
Time in 2015-16, China was not the hard place it has now become. And we were not on our guard in the same way. No one was. Even our CSIS agents will report that.
Yeah.
Things have changed a great deal.
I think it's fair to say that there has been a shift, but I think there were many people that were aware and had concerns. You've also taken a lot of speaking engagements personally with Confucius Institutes in Canada. I wanted to ask, have you been compensated for any of the work you've done with Confucius Institutes?
I think I spoke once at the Confucius Institute as a sidebar event because I was in. First of all, I'm a reader of Confucius, so the Confucius.
As am I, and the Confucius Institutes have nothing to do with the work or
Chinese
legacy of
culture
Confucius.
is.
But can you answer the question though? Were you compensated for any of that work you did?
I don't believe I was. No.
Okay. Have your film production companies ever received funding from individuals or institutions in China that are China-based?
I think I received in terms of my book was translated into Chinese, and I received a payment from a Chinese publisher, quite modest, frankly. But so I have sold things into China, namely my book. My films, I never made a film that was sold.
Have you had Chinese government affiliated institutions based in China fund your work at any point?
No.
Okay. You said in your book, yes, I still occasionally defend the CCP. For one thing, China. I don't think China could have come so far so quickly without the unity and organizational power that it provided. Do you still believe that?
That's the key point to understanding recent Chinese history, that the Chinese was China, and you need to compare China to China, really, to do proper analysis of China. And the unifying principles, especially after, as I say, the Deng Xiaoping period, caused by.
Do you still believe that contention, though? Does that still reflect your?
Do I believe that the Chinese government made considerable economic achievements, I do, yes.
But
At a certain period.
Do you think that the CCP, that China could not have progressed without in this way without the unity and organizational power provided by the CCP? That's your argument in the book. Do you still believe that?
Please.
That's sort of there's a hypothesis. It's hard to know, but I think one have to state in a positive sense that the organizing principles of the Chinese Communist Party had made a significant economic impact on the country. Correct, yes.
That's it, Mr. Genuis. Thank you.